Welcome to the Improve Our podcast. I'm your host, Daniela Tancau, an HR consultant helping entrepreneurs and team leaders build motivated, high-performing teams. Here we talk about leadership, employee motivation, and other topics that enhance your ability to lead. Whether you are an entrepreneur with a team, a business owner planning to build one, or a leader in a company. You'll gain practical advice and insights from me and my guests, experts in the field and entrepreneurs who share their leadership experiences. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe to stay updated on every episode. Let's dive into today's topic. Hi there, welcome back to the Improve Our podcast. In this episode, we'll talk about how can you anticipate if a candidate will be motivated in your company. Now, you can make an exact prediction of whether a candidate will be motivated in your company or not, because there is a lot of data on both sides that remain unknown in the selection process and afterward. But you can look for certain relevant data to better understand the candidate's situation. And let's see what a motivated employee means. Basically, when an employee is motivated, he or she gives their best to accomplish their task in a consistent way and in a way that is beneficial for the company. This behavior can only be sustained in the long term if the results the employee achieves for the company help them meet their personal goals and expectations. For example, you may have highly motivated employees at the beginning of their work in your company, but if they consider that what they receive in return doesn't meet their expectations or that internal practices are not fair to them, they may reduce their effort. And their expectations are not only about financial rewards, but also about how they want to be treated in the company by their leaders and by their colleagues, the feedback they receive, the support they have from colleagues and leaders, the development opportunities they have, and so on. Human resources theories and research based on them, such as Victor Vroom's expectancy theory and Stacey Adams' equity theory, have shown how important employee expectations and internal equity are when it comes to motivation. So having more information about the candidate's expectations in the selection process helps you make better decisions. The more you are able to fulfill the candidate's expectations in your company, the more likely they are to be motivated in a long term. And let's see now how can you find out your candidate's expectations. So we'll talk about 4 aspects you can look for. First, compare the candidate's past work responsibilities with the responsibilities of the job you are offering. It's recommended that the responsibilities you offer to be at least at the same level or at a higher level than he or she previously had at other companies. With an exception, if the candidate didn't manage their previous responsibilities well because this exceeded their competencies. So this is an exception. But otherwise, we all want to grow, to have something better than we had before, and don't want to regress, right? And you can be flexible here, at least in 2 ways. So first, even if the candidate doesn't have all the skills the job requires, but has the ability and desire to learn, and you have time to invest in their development, you may want to consider them for the job. And then if the candidate is a bit overqualified for the job, but you would like to have them at your company, maybe you can adjust the job's level of responsibility so that it's similar to what they had to offer and what they had in the past. The match between job requirements and candidates' competencies will rarely be perfect, so being flexible will help you see more hiring opportunities than if you only search for candidates who meet all the job requirements. Second, compare the work environments where the candidate worked with the work environment in your company. The work environment can vary significantly across different companies. And you can consider things like the work condition. For example, the workspace, the devices that you are offering, the devices and technology they worked before with, and other things like this. Also, how communication and working relationships were at other companies. For example, open with all people, limited to people from the same or close hierarchical levels, or how were they? If the work conditions that your company offers are similar or better than what the candidate is used to, this will not necessarily increase their motivation, but at least they will not feel that they are losing something in this regard. In terms of communication and relationships, for example, those who work in hierarchical organizations practice different communication and relationship patterns than those who work in flat organizations, which have fewer boundaries in this respect. And some people may be glad to move from one type of environment to another, but others may feel that their status decreases and they lose some privileges. The third aspect to consider is to compare the candidate past benefits with the benefits you can offer to him or her. In general, the candidate will be satisfied with the offer if it's better than what he or she has presently. There are also situations in which they'll accept the same financial benefits or less just because they want to change their jobs or to be hired in case they don't have a job currently. For example, some people may prefer a lower paid job instead of a highly paid but very stressful job. However, I recommend that the offer to be above what they had before, even if they would accept less. They'll be more grateful for the job and they won't see it as a regression in financial terms. The fourth aspect to consider is to find out the candidate's development expectations and see if you can facilitate them in your company. Most people want to grow and they look for development opportunities. If the job responsibilities remain unchanged, remain the same for a long period of time, stagnation will set in and the job holders will become bored with their task, which of course will decrease their motivation. As the employee becomes an expert in what he or she is doing, you can add other tasks that will help them learn new things and develop. You need to make space in their work schedule for this new task and to add financial rewards for them in some cases. You can redirect some of their tasks to other employees if they agree, or delegate some of them to others. And you may consider keeping them as supervisors so they don't feel they are losing something in order to gain something new. Maybe they appreciate those tasks they give up and they want to keep them in a way. But this is not quite enough. For these changes to be motivating for the employee, they have to be aligned with the direction in which the employee wants to develop. And if you think you can facilitate the candidate's growth in the direction he or she wants, they'll have a better chance of maintaining their motivation in the long run. If you pay attention to these four aspects, you'll gain a better understanding of how the candidate perceives the position you are offering. This will help you anticipate the extent to which the candidate is likely to be motivated in your company. And in this way, you'll increase your chances of bringing in highly performing people who will stay with your company for the long term. If you'd like even more support in hiring motivated candidates, check out my online course, How to Hire Candidates Motivated by Your Job Offers. And you'll find the link in the description. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you found value in this podcast, one way to support us is by subscribing. For more tools and insights to enhance your leadership skills and your employees' motivation, visit my website at improvework.ro. There you'll find a variety of online programs and courses. You can also book a free consulting sessions or a discovery call with me. I love to connect and support you on your leadership journey. See you in the next episode.